The top story we're tracking this morning, NDTV has accessed a Home Ministry report on the lack of coordination while investigating a terror blast in Hyderabad. Now, apparently the investigations into the terror attack in Hyderabad's Dilsukhnagar in February, which left 19 people dead and 126 injured, were a test case of what not to do. This is thanks to competition between investigating agencies and a complete absence of standard operating procedure. These lapses have been admitted for the first time. The ministry has conceded a litany of flaws in India's terror investigation and emergency response in a background paper accessed by NDTV. This will be circulated at the Indo-US Homeland Security Dialogue on Wednesday. Now, the Hyderabad twin bomb attack would have joined the long list of unsolved cases, the ministry admits, had it not been for the chance arrest of Indian Mujahideen co-founder Yasin Bhatkal in August. Bhatkal allegedly detailed how the bombings were carried out. So now this internal report which details the lack of coordination between the various investigating agencies. The Home Ministry says in the first few hours after the attack, competition between agencies like the National Investigating Agency, the State Criminal Investigation Department and the State Special Force or Octopus Commandos ensured that no one shared information or had a complete picture of the attack. So, an exclusive here by NDTV. We've managed to access this Home Ministry report that details these glaring lapses in India's terror response. This was regarding the Hyderabad, the Dilsukhnagar blast that took place in February. 19 people were killed and 126 people were injured. And it seems no standard operating procedure was followed. In fact, there was competition among agencies and investigating the blast, and also no sharing of information. Well, Sudhi joins us for more on this story. Sudhi, what are the details? And this is something that has been suspected in the past, but now finally it seems the Home Ministry is admitting it.
Well, yes, I mean, this is something that have been, suspected again and again. This is what a sense that we get every time there is a terror attack. But this time the Home Ministry putting it in black and white, putting it in a background paper, which is likely to be circulated in the Indo-US Homeland Security Dialogue, which begins here tomorrow. Now, what does this background paper say? It clearly admits there were severe lapses to the extent that, various agencies like the National Investigative Agency, the local police, the State Special Force, which they call Octopus, they all worked at cross purposes. They all wanted to solve the case themselves. There was a huge amount of one-upmanship, competition between them. Therefore, there was no information that was being shared. Mind you, the first few hours after any kind of a crime, more so in a terror attack, are very, very critical. Those are the times that you need to share information. That is the time that you need to put your heads together and work together if you want to solve a case quickly. And that is exactly what didn't happen when the when the two bombs went off in Dilsukhnagar. Second, the Home Ministry says there was complete chaos amongst the other within the agencies like the police, the fire brigade, those who are tasked to evacuate people, and as a result, when the injured were taken to the Osmania General Hospital, they were taken there only to be realized that the hospital is not equipped. They didn't have enough doctors. They didn't have enough emergency facilities. And the injured again had to be shifted back out of the Osmania Hospital, back to private hospitals. As a result, a lot of precious time in treating people was lost. Mind you, 6 people died after they were died at the hospital. We do not know whether they could have been saved had medical help been at hand. So, these are the, kind of glaring lapses that have come out. The media has been blamed for disturbing the crime scene. Crowds who gathered after the blast disturbed the crime scene, and more so, politicians who visited the spot immediately after the blast. For them, you had to make security arrangements, and as a result, precious resources, because there are not a huge number of policemen that are available or was not available at that point of time, just after the blast. So many of them had to be diverted to create, to give security to the politicians. As a result, the police could not concentrate in the post-blast investigations. Very, very critical lapses. Now the Home Ministry says that it wants to do or wants to come up with a standard operating procedure for all agencies that are likely to be involved or likely to come into play subsequent to a terror attack.
Right, Sudhi, so are you telling me that till now there was no standard operating procedure every time a blast has taken place, whether it be in Bodh Gaya, but now we have seen various agencies at work there, so till now there was no clarity on who has precedence and who really leads the investigations?
Well, I mean, there is no standard operating procedure, codified standard operating procedure, so to say. What is there is, I mean, a general understanding. Well, the police will come in first. They will try to collect evidence. The doctors or the emergency response teams or one wing of the police will try to evacuate. So there is no codified version of who does what. It's a general understanding that is there, and as the Home Ministry has detailed in the paper, there seems to be there is no clear understanding or clear mechanism, or nobody in control, everybody working at cross purposes. That seems to be the conclusion of the Home Ministry. One of the reasons why this happens is at any given point of time when a terror alert or an alert is shared, except for a disaster like a cyclone or it's only shared with one agency, in this case, right, the police. The other agencies like the fire brigade or the doctors or the hospitals are generally kept out of it. So there is no preparation that is made. Perhaps that is going to change in the coming days. Gargi.
Right, and Sudhi, it seems that even the Hyderabad blast would have gone unsolved, as many of our serial blasts in the past have gone unsolved, had it not been for the breakthrough arrest of Yasin Bhatkal.
Well, that is a conclusion that you can draw from what the Home Ministry itself has detailed. It has said that, evidence, a lot of evidence was spoiled because of politicians rushing to the side, because of the media, because of the crowd, because of the agencies working at cross purposes. And mind you, after the initial, in the initial few days after the blast, there were no clear understanding as to who did it, how was it done, who are the people who planted the bomb. They did get some CCTV footage, but at the end of the day, it was the arrest of Yasin Bhatkal which led to, the broader understanding of how it happened. Had the arrest of Bhatkal not happened, perhaps we can here we are speculating a little bit, but we can say, that's the conclusion that comes out. Had Bhatkal not been arrested, had he not made that alleged confession that he is supposed to have made, this case perhaps would have joined the list of unsolved terror cases. Gargi.
All right, Sudhin, can we now expect perhaps a set of rules also for the media and for VIPs after a blast takes place?
Well, we cannot expect a set of rules for the VIPs. It's up to them. It's up to the politicians to, to not to go. We have seen very many times central leaders, the Prime Minister, the Home Minister delaying their visit to terror attack spots of terror attacks immediately after that, just because of this reason. What we can perhaps expect is some guidelines and some kind of a mechanism that being evolved or at least being suggested by the Ministry of Home Affairs to keep the media well informed, because what the ministry says, it's because the media is not informed, because there is chaos, because there is confusion and different kinds of information floating around, the media rushes into terror spots, as a result disturbing the scene. Gargi.
All right, and Sudhi, was it felt, this lack of coordination, which is why this report was prepared? I can see the report will be circulated at the Indo-US Homeland Security Dialogue tomorrow, but is the reason that this report was prepared because these lapses had been felt?
Well, it's an Indo-US Homeland Security Dialogue, and this is one of the post-blast investigation, terror investigation, and how to manage how to manage your different resources subsequent to a mass casualty happening is one of the most critical things. And Homeland Security, a large part of Homeland Security deals with them. deals with this particular aspect. One is prevention, the other is what happens after an incident has happened. And these are the issues that come into play when you look at once an incident has happened. So these will be discussed. The best practices will be shared. The US, the several police chiefs of several states in the US are here. This is what we understand will be discussed among several other things at the Homeland Security Dialogue.
All right, Sudhi, thanks so much for joining us there. NDTV has accessed this internal report of the Home Ministry, as Sudhi was telling us, which will be presented tomorrow.